Hi guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily. Thursday thoughts, as you can see there. Hope you're well. Des here, of course. Just got back from a run. Feeling really good about that. Getting out. It's the third day in a row, so feeling a little bit rubbish yesterday after my run, but I persevered. Really got through it, so I'm getting in plenty of exercise at the moment. I'm managing to get through them, but I'll come back to that a little bit later. Got some good questions to go at today, as ever on Thursday Thoughts. I'm live. So, always looking for your comments, always looking for you to subscribe and like, of course, and let people know what we're doing here. Of course, all I'm trying to do is pass on some useful bits of information, answer your questions, trying not to be too technical, not to be go too in-depth, but just to sort of pass on good bits of information that might encourage people to get out and be active, might help people tackle things in a slightly better frame of mind and just push through. Like I say, I'm feeling absolutely fantastic at the moment. An extra reason today, I know some of the guys have got my London Marathon medal, so I'm really chuffed to have that. You know, if you can't go out for a run on the day you get that, then I don't know when you're going to go out. So that'll be taking pride of place behind me with some of these. So really pleased to receive that, and it makes it all feel worthwhile, and all the hard work that was put in on the day and put in beforehand. Of course, could have been a bit more prepared, but these things happen. It's just about getting out there and doing what you have to do sometimes, and that's what I did with that. So without any further ado, of course, I'll get into the questions. Like I say, some great questions. Really appreciate the input. It wouldn't work without people sending questions across, making comments, and replying to the throwback question. And that's where we'll start this week. Of course, last week I asked you, what positive action did you take when lockdown came around, and what are you going to use to take that forward now? And how are you going to use that to take things forward as the tougher restrictions continue? So some great responses to that. Lots this week. I was really pleased with those. I'll run through a couple. Ian, he's using the garden more. I know that because I've actually been there for a barbecue when we could, of course. It's good to get out, isn't it? And it's really important, again, of course, with the rule of six and being able to see people outdoors. It's really important to do what you can. So if you can get out a bit more, I know it's getting a bit cold now, but still important. Dawn, great answer, to keep riding a bike. She's really taken that on, something she really enjoys. I'm sure she won't mind admitting she finds the running side of things a little bit tough. So she's found a form of exercise that she loves, and she's really looking forward to taking that on again. I'm sure she's planning a marathon on a bike as well, which is a great plan to have for the rest of the year. Simon is going to keep ordering his box meals. It's a great way to stay out of the shop, save time and do some actual cooking. And of course, to eat healthier and fresh food, of course, that's really important, isn't it? I'm a little bit guilty at the moment through a lot of upheaval and a lot of change of not eating particularly well. We didn't have a cooker for a few weeks with moving, so got to really get back into that myself. And I've got a little target. John asked a question about, have I got any targets for the rest of the year? I'm actually looking to lose a stone in weight and give a half marathon a real go, try and get somewhere around that 2-hour mark that I used to sort of get regular with the injury and building up again. I've not been able to do that. So by doing some of the things I've been doing, by building up the running, by trying to get up early, by getting back into healthy eating like Simon, I'm definitely looking to do that. Kirsty, she's been practicing daily self-care. It's become non-negotiable. The morning commute has been swapped for yoga, meditation, reading, walking, and of course do daily catch-up. Why wouldn't it be? I know Kirsty listens a lot in the morning, and that's great. So brilliant things to sort of think about doing there. The yoga and the meditation, reading, walking. I do a lot of these things now. I don't always talk about all of them, but to try and make positive change. Some of those things are really important, and if you just do one, might lead on to another, and you get so much more from the day. Like Kirsty, I tried to get up early, and really attack the day with something like that. So great answer there, Kirsty. Hannah, we started using Kerry's Fresh food to avoid supermarkets, and we get the fruit and veg delivered now. It's really good value, local produce, and it makes her cook things that she wouldn't normally. Again, that's just sort of extending on what Simon said there. It's really key to remember how important food is in the grand scheme of things. Of course, whilst we're here trying to stay healthy, trying to keep people active, trying to be positive about what we do, nutrition and a diet is so important in that. And I think people are really realising that that is so important. For example, when we're tired or when we're not feeling great, we make unhealthy choices. So the better choices we make, it makes us feel better, makes our mood feel better. It makes us sort of more positive about that particular choice, which might make you then go out for a run or go out for a walk, or do some of the things Kirsty mentioned there. So it's really important to do some of those. So some great responses there. Like I say, really appreciate that. It's absolutely fantastic. It's probably the biggest response we've had to the throwback question. Of course, there'll be another one of those a little bit later. But getting on to the questions, Elliot asked the first question, and basically says he's been running since April, so he still classes himself as a relatively new runner, and he feels his fitness has improved quite considerably over the summer. However, he's noticed that his speed just recently is reduced from the PBs he was getting, and he says, even when I'm pushing myself, would the turning weather be a factor? Would the turning weather be a factor, or do you just generally find a pace as a runner? Well, to be honest, Elliot, I think the first thing that we all do when we take up running is we get a little bit sort of not carried away, but we focus on those achievements, and getting that better time week on week is absolutely fantastic. I can remember when I first went to parkrun, I think 7 out of the first 8 weeks I got a better time, and you're just keen to keep going out there doing it. And as you start, you tend to smash it, and it gets that smaller and smaller, the improvement. And then at some point, you're going to have to plateau off, and that's just going to be natural, I think the important thing is if you're wanting to achieve, if you want to keep improving, it's just to maintain that consistency. It's important to stick to routines. I know Elliot personally, I know he's running quite a lot, particularly during the first lockdown. And having said what we said about coming back into lockdown where we are in particular, it might be the time to really sort of focus on that again and give it a go. I have read before that Olympic athletes, for example, and I know we're not Olympians, but what tends to happen is we can only peak as individuals for 6 months. So when you hear about an Olympian getting a season's best and they'll be happy with that at this point of the year, they're working in a cycle to the actual Olympic Games event. So they're ready to peak at that point. But if you bear that in mind as an individual, basically, if you can only peak for 6 months, and I've seen it with lots of people get frustrated when they've worked really, really hard and then the times drop down. But I can assure you it will come back, and it's just about working in those cycles, keep pushing through it, keep working hard. There's lots of things you can do, sort of. Sometimes you might want to take up hill running. It's great for building strength. Interval training, again, it's great for building strength and working on speed if you're really sort of motivated to get faster and quicker and sort of regain those PBs and sort of smash those. But it's important not to get too carried away with it. It's just enjoy your running, get out there, keep that consistency. If you go 2, 3, 4 times a week, I know at one point during my running, I was going sort of 5 times a week, and on a Tuesday, I do it now a little bit with Not a Park Run. I try and go out there and do a quick one to try and improve. I'm not as quick as I used to be, but I'm just working away at it week on week, trying to chip away at my time, just for personal satisfaction. Don't get too carried away on running too fast, but it's important for me to use that one session a week just to really test myself. I use the same route, try and mix it up at other times. Like I say, do the hills, do the trails, do something that's really hard. It's all great training, said it a million times, there's never been a bad run. I almost hinted on my own social media last night that I'd had a bad one, but then I even questioned myself. There's never a bad run when you're getting out. So even the slogs, even the tough ones, they're well worth it. They're all going to make you a bit fitter than what you was. It's just a case of keep going. In terms of the weather, I don't think that really affects anything. I tend to run better in the winter. I can breathe a lot better, and that's probably to do with weight again. Need to get that weight off. But what happens in the summer, I used to find this a lot with football as well, is you tend to, in the summer, you build your fitness. You'll hear about the professional footballers come back to pre-season, do a lot of running, they're getting the stamina going. They're working on the sort of upper body and the strength and those kind of things. And then as the winter kicks in, it does get a bit tougher on the legs. You sort of having to trawl through the mud, but again, that's building strength in the legs and the lower body, and really sort of building all-round strength. So it's 6 and 2 threes with the weather really. I watched the women's London Marathon last night, and they started and it was absolutely teeming it down with rain. And the commentator said there that it shouldn't really affect too much. Of course, over a marathon, it probably will. That fraction of a millisecond, each step over 26 miles is probably going to slow them down with the less grip on the surface. But as athletes, it doesn't really affect what they do. And even as sort of regular runners, people who just do it for fun, it shouldn't really affect too much. I really enjoy getting out in the rain. I really enjoy the cold. I just feel I can breathe better. I feel I can get through it. Breathing is tough for me. But what I will say, if you want to keep improving, is just stay consistent. Think about mixing it up a little bit. Do some longer runs. Do some short sprints. Do some hill training. You won't always get your best time, but what you will do is notice when you do give it a go again, it'll really sort of pay off. I know one of the guys, Ian, is doing Red October, so he's running every day. And he asked me a question about this a couple of weeks ago, and my response, his question was, what would my advice be? And I said to him, and I've said it to people before, because I like to run in streaks myself. So whilst he's trying to run every day, you will find the tough ones. It's just a case of getting out there, plodding through it, going particularly slow sometimes, when you really don't feel like it, when you're really sort of struggling for motivation and struggling for sort of mental strength to do it. It's important just to get through them. And then after a week or so, have a few days off, 3, 4, a week off, and then the results really shine through. Once you've had that little bit of a rest, or your body's sort of not as tired as it was, but the strength is high, and you get some real great sort of times. I've done it in December, come back in January and gone to Parkrun and absolutely smashed PBs. So that's something to bear in mind. Hopefully that answers your question, Elliot. There was quite a lot there, so thanks for that. The next question is actually, it's my own question. It was something I asked myself last night. I said to you there, I didn't feel particularly great last night. It was a real battle. And I didn't understand why. On Tuesday, I ran with Kay. I ran a relatively quick time for me at the moment. I was pushing myself for not Parkrun during the Do Running City Slickers session. And I felt fantastic. I felt really confident for the first time in a long time. I'd taken it easy through the 10-mile event on Sunday, comfortable. It wasn't easy, but it was relatively comfortable afterwards. I recovered pretty quickly, and like I say, Tuesday was a great one. I felt really confident, and I thought I wanted to go out again. But last night I really struggled, and then I realised after I'd been running for about a mile that I did my flu jab yesterday in the morning, and I thought this would be a great sort of thing to talk about. Of course, it's topical. It's starting to come in at the moment. Lots of people are going to be sort of having that, and it's going to affect a lot of us. And I had no idea how this sort of impacts anything. I was wondering whether I felt lethargic because of that. Did I feel sort of a bit run down? And of course, they inject a bit of fluid into you to sort of build the antibodies. So I thought I'd do a bit of research into it. I thought I'd look into it and almost answer the question without being asked it. It was just important for me to look up just to get a few facts. And the reality of it is the flu jab shouldn't really affect anything. So I probably just had one of those days, it happens, it was a bit stop-start because I was taking pictures. I was trying to do one or two things at the same time. But it actually says with the flu jab, in many ways, there's research out there that suggests that you can, going out for exercise or activity, as long as it's not too strenuous, can actually help. It can start building your immune system a lot quicker, than it would be. Of course, I said there that, and it's well known that once you've had a flu jab, sometimes you can feel a little bit run down after, but it's actually supposed to help more than hinder. Of course, you have to listen to your own body. You have to listen to. We all know our own body best. Like I say that, but I didn't realise that till I got out there. I completely forgot I'd had the jab. It was early in the morning, particularly early. So we've got to listen to what our body's saying. I actually felt good when I went out, and then quickly felt lethargic. So perhaps I should have stopped. But in many ways, I sort of blundered through it, and it made me feel a lot better for doing that. A couple of weeks ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So it was important for me to really sort of get through it and give it a real go. But like I say, the reality is it doesn't really affect what you're doing unless your body's telling you you're tired, you shouldn't be doing it. I had a tricky night's sleep as well the last couple of nights. So one or two things could impact that. I've actually just been out for a run, feel a lot better. It felt a bit sluggish again, to be honest, but once I finished, it was as quick as I've been running recently, so I'm not too disappointed. I managed to meet up with a friend who's unfortunately just had COVID and recovered from it. So it was great to see him. It was great to get out. We was chatting and kind of took my mind off what we were doing. And I've come back and I feel great about it again. First time in a long, long time. I've got out there and done 4 days running in 5 days, and I walked 6.5 miles on Sunday. So whilst I'm not feeling absolutely fantastic, I'm feeling great by the fact that I've been out and done all that activity, because it's really important for me as well, and as much as things affect us and our bodies get tired, it's important to be mentally strong, and that's what I felt I was doing by pushing through. But I thought I'd just touch on that today. Like I say, it was something I kind of wanted answering myself, and I thought it'd be useful for you guys to know. The next question is from Davna. So basically, she says a few years ago she went to Duxford Air Museum. There is a timeline from the first flight to the present day, and she was shocked that she felt her heart pounding and teared up when she saw how quickly we got from first flight to man on the moon. It made her think of how brave and how amazing these people were, and that we can achieve anything. Of course, I talk about that a lot. Of course we can if we put a mind to it. It's really important to remember that we can do anything, whether it's a run around Nottingham on a wet Wednesday night, or doing something completely new. I talk a lot about DOdaily and wanting to do these things. Put myself out of my comfort zone, but it's really amazing when you see amazing things like this. And Davna basically asked me there if I have ever experienced anything like that. And I think that's a really good question. I really, really sort of appreciate getting that. And to be honest, I have. I'm not much of a military person or a petrol head. Cars and vehicles don't really impress me. But a few years back, I went to Armed Forces Day. It was in Nottingham. It was on the Victoria Embankment, ironically just where I live now. But it was a big show. I thought I'd go along because it had not been here before. I thought I'd go and have a look what it was all about. And that day there was lots of old warplanes flying at flybys, Lancaster bombers and Spitfires and all those kind of things. And I was absolutely blown off my feet. I couldn't believe how much I enjoyed it. I couldn't stop talking about it. I wanted to look at all the tanks. I wanted to. There was little kids playing on them. I wanted to climb on them myself, but I had to sort of rein myself in. But seriously, I really sort of, the planes flying over, you know, the noises they made and the things you've heard in the films, it just really struck a chord, and it made me quite emotional. It made me really into it, into what I was seeing, you know, and read up and look into it and think about the impact that those planes had during the war and when there was used to bomb people and do what they did, you know, and it's amazing when you see things like that, and it really sort of got me. So I thought that was a really, really good question, Davner, you know, and because it's what we talk about here all the time is motivating, inspiring, isn't it? And that question really sort of, it's just talking about the inspiration you can get from something else and a real feel good and sort of a will to want to learn more and know more about it. And that's what sort of making progress is all about, being positive, taking things forward, you know, trying to sort of better ourselves every day, you know, whether it is activity, whether it's to create a better frame of mind for yourself, or whether it's to lose weight, or whatever it's for. What we're trying to do here is just motivate and inspire, and I think that's really, really important, you know. So what I'm going to do today, I think that's the perfect throwback question. Is there something that you've seen or heard that was totally unexpected but had a real emotional effect on you? So thanks for that, Dav. Now I'll put that out to the guys. Hopefully you can comment, pass on your thoughts, you know. Look forward to the answers from that. If I get half the response I did this week to the throwback question, I'll be more than happy. I'll have plenty to go with. So that's the questions, guys. Really enjoy receiving that. Of course, thanks again. You know, that's really important for me to sort of keep doing a Thursday. I really enjoy what I do here. You know, it takes me out my comfort zone. As you can see, I've got a few more visuals today. I've been trying to get my head around those, you know, so always trying to improve, always trying to make it slightly better for you guys. But if you can, keep using that hashtag, the daily hashtag, tag us in, Thursday thoughts, wake up to walk. Of course, I'll be waking up to walk tomorrow. I'll be going somewhere different. Not quite sure yet. What me and Kay tend to do on a Thursday is sit down after the video. It almost feels like the start of the weekend now, because the Friday morning comes so quickly. And then once that's out of the way, we get a little bit of a rest from doing this. So it's important to sit and plan. You know, we'll have a tea and think about what we're doing, and I'll think about what we're doing tomorrow, where we're going to go. Of course, think about the Saturday selfie and what we can do there. Throwing it back to you guys to sort of keep doing what you've done. This week's been absolutely brilliant. The solidarity session and the Wednesday workout went down an absolute storm. Lots of the guys taking part, lots of great pictures, people really embracing what it's about. It's just about creating that team spirit that we've got in normal times, you know, creating the distraction from what's going on out there, you know, and then just getting out there and getting active. And that's what's really important, isn't it? And if we can stay active, stay positive and stay strong, you know, we'll get through the situation regardless, and we'll keep doing what we have to do. So if you've liked the video, guys, like I say, post on those down there, those links, and please like and subscribe, and catch up with us in the morning. Just doing it.